everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to get us kicked off here a few minutes early to give you a tour of the space before we hear from Tiffany. I'm out here. It's a little noisy, so please forgive me, but I wanted to show you first the beautiful, oh, I'm in the way, the beautiful, there we go, sign that we got put up this morning. Virtuoso is here in Schenectady, New York. We put final touches on the space this morning, and it has been so great to see everybody starting to show up. We had Senator Tedesco here a moment ago. He had to leave. He's got lots more events to get to, but we were thrilled he could make an appearance. So I'm going to give you a little tour of the space here, and we'll see who else is around. So here we are walking up to the studio space. We share this wonderful office with our lovely friend Emily, who does acupuncture. She's lovely. You can see the kids over there playing in the lawn. This this space here is just so sort of homey and welcoming. So we come up to this front door here. We've got our lovely mums, which were brought by Mom. And we're going to come in and say hello to the folks that are here. And we're just, you can see the sign here that is beautiful. Look at that, shimmering. We did a ribbon cutting a few minutes ago, and everybody signed the ribbon. So we are officially open thanks to the Capital Region Chamber of Commerce. We've got all of these great words of wisdom from people. Over here, we've got a little interactive activity for everybody. You can post on our wall, and if you're joining us live virtually, you can post on our actual wall on Facebook or on YouTube with some advice, some words of congratulation, maybe your favorite quote, or a fun doodle or picture. Because, as you all know, Virtuoso serves artists of all types. Look at that. We're going to come over here and show you. This is the front of the space. All these beautiful finishes everywhere. We've got lots of friends and family around that came to celebrate. Beautiful sunflowers, so bright and happy. Here's our wonderful Tiffany. We're going to hear from her in a minute. Wave! Yay! And we've got this beautiful piece of artwork that just, I mean, I can't even handle it. We've got snacks. I know you guys can't join us for snacks, but you know, take a moment, run to your kitchen, get some snacks. I'm making you hungry because I'm hungry. I'm gonna get some snacks, and then check this out. We've got a whole. Oh, there's a chipmunk. Look at the chipmunk. Sorry, I get very excited about wildlife, guys. We've got this great patio. Check this out. So we're gonna be hosting some events here. There's even a trampoline that you can jump on if you wanna, you know, get your workout in. But this wonderful patio here, right up into the forest. Maybe we'll have a bonfire. Maybe we'll host some cool event. You can't see the twinkly lights yet. It's still too bright, but we've got twinkly lights up. It's just great back here. So this is going to be our Friday afternoon happy hour hangout when we're done with office work, coming out here, grabbing a glass of wine and just enjoying a little bit of fresh air. So now I'm going to walk you back towards the front. We've got a nice tent out here. Nobody's milling around outside quite yet, but we set this up in case of weather and just to sort of create more space here. But this location here on Route 50 in Schenectady is wonderful. We've got a little garden. You can hang out on the bench, and we're back to the front door. So if you guys are around in person ever in Schenectady, oh, and I teased the swag on Instagram, but check this out. Do well while doing good. Look at that swag. Awesome, guys. Tiffany is doing such great work, and we're gonna hear from her in just a minute. So we're gonna take a little pause here. Grab your bubbly, your glass of wine, grab your snacks, and we'll hear from Tiffany in just a couple of minutes. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. Check back in just a couple minutes.
Being here, and for those of you who are joining us from home, there it is. Welcome, and thank you for being a part of this. So, I mentioned to Morgan earlier this week that I have not felt like this much pressure for an event since my wedding, our wedding, Robert and my wedding, 11 years ago, because this day, this launch, this business has so much emotional impact, and it's really big deal. He's good. Okay, that's my son. So when I started my first financial planning practice 7 years ago, I mentioned I couldn't have imagined today being here, having a space of our own. It's amazing. And for those of you who don't know, some of you know and some of you don't, but I'm a singer by trade. This is where I began my career. I started at the age of 8. Oh, it's balloon. Very important. Very important. So this is called being a working parent. So I started my career as a singer and started performing when I was 8. And so by the time I went to college, I had a decade worth of performing experience. And when I was in college, I decided to add a music business degree. So I started my career actually in arts administration, not in finance. It's very interesting how you can train and focus on one area and then transition. But I started my career in arts management in Manhattan. And then when that wasn't as glamorous as I thought it might have been, I transitioned to a hedge fund. And that's truly where I fell in love with the financial sector, the interconnectivity of it all, the how everything talks and relates. It's just fascinating to me. But then as life does, I transitioned and Rob and I got engaged and we moved to upstate New York where I did a master's in music education. And while I was in upstate New York, I was asked to be the executive director of the Orchestra of Northern New York. And that set me on the path of almost a decade-long experience of doing fundraising and development. And having just come from Wall Street, I'm very comfortable talking about money. And so in my tenure at the orchestra, I was able to grow. This is small town living. Do you hear the siren? I'm so used to it by now, but everybody who's coming to the space is like, oh, what's that? This is it's the volunteer fire alarm. No, yeah. 5 o'clock. Quick time. So that experience of working in nonprofits, I bring it up because it is so influential to the work that we're doing here, right? We are a financial firm, and yet so much of our roots and values are grounded in that early experience. So what inspired me to move into personal finance is after all of these years of doing fundraising and sitting in rooms with foundation executives and their heirs and building strategies about how they're going to achieve their goals and their impact, I had this like aha moment of, well, what if everybody had a team like this? What if everybody could achieve their goals and their dreams? And so I decided to get my licenses and transition and start. I've always been a geek about personal finance, but totally making it authentic and real in 2015. And so I hung my shingle on my first financial planning practice as part of a larger broker-dealer in 2015. And then a month later, I had Juniper. So my work in this industry is like physically epitomized by my daughter. I see it every day. She's getting bigger and bigger, and our work is growing in that time. So since 2015, I have met with and served and had the privilege of helping hundreds of individuals in building financial plans and financial strategies. And it's the impact of the work that we're doing is great. I see it every day for people making their own dreams come true. You know, they buy their first house, they can afford a car, they're putting their kids through college, and they're not batting an eyelash. I had a client last week reach out because they just finished paying off almost $50,000 of debt in 3 years with a plan that we built. And they said, okay, we're phase 1 done. What's next? And I just was so humbled, you know, because they're doing the work. We're building the strategy, but collectively, we're changing lives. And that is the work of a financial advisor and a financial planner. So earlier this year, I had this nagging sense of, what if it wasn't all about the money? Yes, I'm in finance, and yes, we deal in money, and yes, we have to be all about money, but at the same time, what if there was a way to be in financial planning and be in financial advising that wasn't just focused on return and just focused on bottom line? What if a financial firm was built not just to hit their goals and their objectives, but to actually help their clients' dreams come true? And so I started asking this question, and I started interviewing my circle. So Virtuoso Advising for Artists, my other company, has a advisory board. Some of you probably didn't even know you were on the advisory board. But I started reaching out to my peers and saying, hey, hypothetically speaking, if one were to build a financial services firm dedicated to artists and supporters of the arts, what would that look like? How would we design it? What would our core values be? And listening to my peers, they were all reflecting and mirroring back to me what our core values are. And so those stem on radical transparency. No longer should clients feel disempowered around their finances. And the sector does it all the time in making people feel like, oh, they have to work with someone because they don't know better. They have to work with an expert. And my job, frankly, I believe, is to educate my clients to make the decision that's right for them. I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm here to tell you what your options are, and you need to have the information to make whatever decision is right for you. So keeping our clients empowered, making sure that we're being transparent around fees, not just saying, hey, this is your percentage fee, but this is the dollar amount that it translates to and the impact over a year. And very clear. When I set up my own firm, I decided not to have any commission-based products, no proprietary products, no commission-based funds at all. Because the truth of the matter is that to be a fiduciary, my job is to always do what's in the best interest of my clients. And if there's a commission that I'm receiving for selling said product, it starts to kind of muddy the waters. And even though I've always really held strict to that line, there is that inherent, if I sell this and you buy this, I'm going to get paid. So you know what? Starting our own firm, we have no commission-based products. Everything is transparent, everything is upfront, and we're just making sure that people have the information that they need to make their decisions. Other things that we are doing is just, what if we gave back? What if one of the core tenets was philanthropy? Okay, this is my nonprofit roots showing. But it's really just 1% for the arts, making that part of everything that we do. So there's other companies that have 1% for the planet, and I love these companies, and I eat their chocolate, and I buy their t-shirts. But the truth is that the arts are often inactified. But during the pandemic, and when everything shut down, we all turned to the arts. We turn to the arts in the good times, we turn to the arts in the bad times. We turn to the arts to just kind of reflect our human experience, and they're pervasive in everything that we do. It's in architecture, it's in our marketing, it's in our apps, on our phones. Like, art is everywhere. And it is what makes us uniquely human, that we create art, that we experience art. It is a reflection of what it is to have the human experience. And it's not an afterthought. Again, it is the core, my core, growing up and becoming of an adult, but everybody experiences art in different ways. But instead of having it be an afterthought, building a firm that is dedicated to serving the people who are creating art, but also the people that support it, because we need it. And I've had people ask, like, well, what does it mean to be a supporter of the arts? Like, do you watch Netflix? Do you buy movies? Do you support bands? Do you go to all of these other places where it's everywhere. If you download apps and you're experiencing that, you don't just have to be a donor or a symphony chair name owner to be a supporter of the arts. It's in everything that we do. So building a firm that's dedicated to doing that, and then collectively saying, okay, yes, we have to invest our funds to outpace inflation, which we're all hearing a lot about these days. But what if we were investing our funds to outpace inflation and also make a difference, and building something where we can give back? So instead of just knowing that, 1% is going towards a corporate overhead or somebody else's catering budget or whatever, no, 1% of what this firm does, and our sister company, Virtuoso Advisory for Artists, 1% of our gross profits, meaning not after expenses, 1% of everything that comes in is being donated back, except I am not making that decision, because that would be a conflict of interest, right? Zero conflict of interest. So the idea here is that as a member of this community, you have a say. Whether you have $1 million here or just started your IRA yesterday with 1,000, and kudos to you. Now we all have a voice in how we're going to make a difference. And so every November, people are going to be invited to put forth a name of a 501c3, an arts nonprofit. And then you're all going to be invited. Anybody who's part of the BAM fam or the community, you're invited to help us make that decision. Because it's not just me, and it's not just a handful of people. We are coming together as a community to be bigger than ourselves and to make a difference. That's how you make change. That's how you create impact, and leading from the front and starting the 1% for the arts, branding it and trademarking and whatever we need to do. That's where we're going. That's the vision for this firm. So I have hit my phone too many times and now I'm away from my talking points. So 1% for the arts, radical transparency, empowering our clients to be bigger than themselves and be better. And the other thing is that like a lot of what we're doing is building a firm that more than 50% of the funds that we invest in are ESG funds, funds that are environmentally responsible or address social justice issues or governance, gender parity. About 15 years ago when I was at the hedge fund, I wanted a socially responsible fund for my 401k. And I got the like pat on the head, like, oh, you're a bleeding heart and you're never gonna get returns. Like, okay, stick in the middle of the line. Okay, fast forward 15 years, we no longer have to sacrifice performance for our values. And this is, I mean, the millennial generation has done a lot of this, but the truth is that we can vote with our dollars and we can lead from the front. And where we choose to put our money and invest our money and grow our money is now telling companies, oh, people are paying attention and they care about this. Last year, in 2020, over $50 billion moved from traditional investments to ESG funds. And now companies are clamoring to get certified. Oh, people want this and people want to buy our stocks and I want to be included in these mutual funds that have our stock, but we need to be certified, ESG certified. What does that mean? That means bringing women to the board. That means having gender parity at all levels, not just board levels, but C-suite executives. That's bringing in not just women, but diverse populations and having many voices instead of the voices that have primarily been in those spaces. And yet, statistics have shown that these companies that intentionally employ these directives to bring more voices to the table have much more stability in their stock performance, right? So again, we no longer have to sacrifice performance for impact. So our firm is really focusing on those core tenets. So there's a couple people though that I want to acknowledge because we wouldn't be here anymore without them. So I will add that being a women-owned financial services firm is still kind of unique in this space. And I'm so proud to be here as a female-owned business and a working mom. And you saw my kids. Like they're here. It is in everything that I do. It is not one or the other. No longer do I feel like I have to sacrifice family time for my professional career. Everything. So while I help my clients make their dreams come true, my clients are helping make my dreams come true, which is incredible. So, okay, we wouldn't be here without a couple of core people. So I mentioned early on in this experience having interviews with people and saying, like, what would a financial services firm look like? One of the people I called was Mr. Rob Patterson, who is here today and was here last night, helping doing the final cleanup and renovation. And having built several companies himself, I really valued his opinion about how do you build something from scratch, right? We have all these ideas, we have all of this input, and what does this look like when we put it into practice? And so Rob was very generous of his time and his advice and his insight, and he's been an integral part of what we've been building today. You're a great sounding board and a friend, and thank you so much. But none of this would have been possible without Eleanor and Tony Patterson. Ellie recognized early on the passion that I had, which is just for the work that we're doing, and being super financially savvy herself has just been a core support for making all of this possible. So thank you so much. Thank you, Tony. Another couple that I need to thank are my parents, who drove, there you are, 5.5 hours this morning, again, I feel like you've been here every 2 weeks. 2 weekends ago, this space did not look like it. And I was my mom was like, how are things going? And I was like, this is my punch list, this is my list of what needs to get done. And then she was like, okay, great, we'll see you at lunch tomorrow. Dropped everything, came, we got so much done. And then they did it again today, and they're here. But my parents also drove me back and forth to all of my lessons from 8 to 18. They invested so much of themselves in me. Whew, I did not expect to get emotional. And nurturing that gift as a singer and a performer. And they've always been part of this. So even though a few years ago I didn't have this vision, I knew we were building something, they have believed in me and they have supported me and they have been here every step of the way. And thank you. Thank you for making the several trips. Good. Yes, this is the goal. Thank you for making the trips. Thank you for being here. Thank you for moving these things last minute, Dad. This morning when I was like, oh, look at that. Make it up. Thanks for hanging the twinkle lights like you did 11 years ago at my wedding. Making the space reflect exactly the energy that I want.
And the irony.
Yes, and everything. Thank you for everything. The other group I want to thank are my clients. This summer was a really long summer while I was waiting for what I wanted to share with all of you of being able to do what I'm doing. And my clients believed in me, and even though they didn't know about Virtuoso yet, asset management, they were in my corner and they were sending me notes of like, hey, we're watching what you're doing in Virtuoso Advising for Artists and congratulations on expanding that. And I felt the belief, I felt the support all along. And so like I said, as I have the privilege of helping make their dreams come true, they have helped support me in making this dream come true. So thank you to my clients and my friends who some have come on board and some have not. And then today would have literally not happened without Morgan Brophy, my partner in everything. The more we work together, the more we realize that we are just shadow versions of each other. We sang about 15 minutes ago, and I'm a high coloratura, and it turns out she's a mezzo. Like, here we go. Like, we're just learning more and more. But she's the strategist. She's the operations person. And funny thing, she was one of the first people I interviewed when I was like, I had this idea, but what does it look like? And I knew Morgan because we were introduced by our friend, Jerome Sokoloff, years ago. And she has been bringing me to teach at Wolf Trap when she was there. And then became a client and we began working together. And I'm like, she knows her stuff and she's passionate. And one of the things that Morgan is the most passionate about is creating the opportunity for artists agency and control over your dollars and your future and your work by knowing the numbers and having that. So bringing her on board was just natural. We had a conversation in February as I was picking her brain of like, what would this look like? And then I was like, I can't do this alone. I can't build all of this alone. And I can't run two companies alone and be a mom. And I didn't even create a job description. I just said, I need Morgan. And I emailed her at like 2 a.m. And I was like, Director of Operations. And boom, it all happened. I think the response that I got that Friday was when you received it was like, who is it? The GIF.
Kermit the Frog.
Oh, was it? No. It was like,
Yeah, it was Kermit the Frog.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. But it was like the perfect response. Like, I'm gonna process this. We're gonna be good. All of this, like she sent me home at 1 to get ready, but she came in days before to make sure the space was ready. Our client processes are in place. She is responding to emails. She's building the back end. She is making all of the things happen because I couldn't do it without her. So thank you. And her other half, Jeremiah, who's keeping the stream going right now from home. And last but not least, they're outside. But I couldn't know he's there.
She's thanking you.
I need to thank my family because not that I could think about it, but when I told Juniper that I quit my job in April to spend more time with her and to see her more, she gave me a hug and she was like, Mommy, I'm so proud of you. And that has been, again, she's been a part of this since she was in utero. I started studying for my licensing exams when I was pregnant. I opened my first practice in the end of my 3rd trimester because, everything just happens at once. And so she has been a part of all of this. And all of this is for her and him and being a part of that. None of this would have happened without the support of my husband, Rob, who is outside literally wrangling Rory right now and keeping them from running into the busy road. But Rob is there so I can be working at night. And he is there to do the grocery shopping and the cooking so I don't have to mentally engage on that. So I can focus on paying our bills and running a business and doing all the other things that we do. We have a great dynamic and we have a great partnership and we're raising a beautiful family. And our family is so blessed to have all of you and you as an extension of the work that we're doing here and the love that we share because we share it with others. So at the end of the day, his steadfast his steadfast love and support is helping make all of my dreams come true as I help my clients do the same. So thank you for being here. Thank you for making this happen. Thank you for being here. And believing in the work and mission of this firm, because there's so much coming. There's so much we're going to do together. It's very exciting. We're changing the industry from the front, the financial sector. We're leading with our 1% for the arts and radical transparency around financial advising. And we're putting values and client goals at the forefront. And it's a very exciting time. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being here. So I toast to all of you.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers. Cheers. Yes, thank you. Thank you all.
Bravo.
A lot more emotional than I thought I could get.